Wonderful people, thank you for tuning in. My friends, I want to give you the behind the scenes inception behind my book, From the Future of Intuition. So when I first started writing this book, the initial intention was to tell the story of my life, tell the story of those strategies and healthy practices that I adopted that positioned me in the most optimal place to be successful. And I wanted to draw from my true experience and tell the authentic story of how these decisions I made truly and genuinely put me in a position where more opportunities opened up. So I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share some truly genuine and evidence-based, proven habits that actually lead us to success. And I wanted to show how the decisions and the action I took in my life really led me to these new chapters and these breakthroughs. And I saw it for myself, so I wanted to give it back. And within my book, I talk about teaching, I talk about education and how I positioned myself in the world of education. And I also talk about acting. I talk about how taking action in my life to get into that world really started to shape the chapters in my life. So I spoke about how networking and reaching out to different people within the industry had opened different doors for me within that world, and how it led me to get voiceovers and to find other acting opportunities and meet other really great people within that industry. And the first important thing and the most valuable step we can take is simply to take action. And taking action from a place of intuition. That's what the book is about. That's why it's called, with the subtitle, From the Formula to the Breakthrough, because it started from the formula. So it started from, the actual equation, the actual methodology, and then that led to the formula. And then that was how I found myself, operating from the future with a place of intuition. The reason I have that fun, quirky title is to say that, you're operating from intuition, you're operating from your inner guidance, and that is shaping the external world, that's shaping the sense data around you. So when you operate from that place, you can start getting a feel for the action to take and the next thing that's going to enhance your life. So that was the first thing. That was the first thing that started shaping this book. So I was able to do my research, network, get an idea of how these industries, how these disciplines worked, and then simply realizing what action I had to take to position myself in that industry. So what I was doing is I was gaining intel and I was understanding, what it was I had to do to then, move further in the world of acting. So from doing that, I was able to open doors. So you have to really do lots of research and gain some kind of intuition about what it is you have to do next. So I did that. And then the other side to this whole equation of success is this whole kind of realm of well-being, this realm of how you feel in yourself, because everything is energy. We come into this world as human beings in a sense to tweak and manage energy, to sort of manipulate it. That's what life is, essentially, to put it simply. It's a manipulation of energy, for use of a better term. It's how we manage and use our energy. So from doing that, my friends, I found that I could focus on my well-being and focus on how I felt, and that would put me in a state, because when you feel good, you start getting more ideas. It's an exponential increase in ideas. So what is happening is that you're finding that you're becoming more inspired, and you're getting more clarity, you're getting more energy, you're building up momentum. So that's the kind of vehicle, if you will, that leads us to these places. So you've got the intuition, which is the fuel, and then you've got you and how you feel. You are the vehicle that leads you there. So, from thinking about how you feel, like going for jogs, moving around, like people say things like, before you go to work in the morning, just get up and dance around and see how you feel. Get up and move around, and it's such a powerful tool to use. I'm just moving this way because it's so windy. It's such a powerful tool to use, because what you're doing is you're actually allowing yourself to be in a better state. So then you'll find that things are going to open up for you, and that is really the key. So those are the two things I want to share with you guys. You've got the vehicle and you've got the fuel. So the vehicle is us, and how we feel, so our daily practices, how accountable we are to ourselves, but also just being nice to ourselves. So how accountable we are to ourselves in that we make sure we are... Look at this little squirrel right up here. What is he doing? Living his best life. Sorry, I just had to show that. Got distracted there. But how accountable we are to ourselves, and that we have these practices that work. So we have our fitness, we have our meditation, we have this nutrition, and this keeps the signal clear. This keeps us focused. This keeps the pineal gland clear, so that we have that intuition, that sort of psychic ability, and mainly that clarity, and also that we're nice to ourselves. I think really the key to making a success is making peace with where you are in your life, and sort of reconciling where you are, like putting both feet on the ground and saying, right, I'm here right now. Yes, we've got these different things that are going on, but I'm still going to make a breakthrough. I'm still going to push through. So putting both feet on the ground and moving forward accordingly. And then the fuel, it's the inspiration, it's the intuition, putting ourselves in these rooms that get us inspired, absorbing content, watching, different materials that give us knowledge and expertise, and then moving forward. So that's the vehicle and the sort of fuel. And then the next thing is about the patterns. Now this is really important. If you stayed this far, I've got a real treat for you, because this is probably the most fundamental part of the equation. So in life we have patterns. So we've got 3 types of patterns. We've got observing patterns. So this is noticing them. So you're seeing these patterns come up. Okay, you might be seeing a recession pop up. You might be seeing, issues with the economy popping up. This might come up every, 8 to 10 years, and you're noticing this, you're observing, you're saying, oh, this is a bit peculiar. I'm noticing another rise in inflation. Oh, how is this going to affect me? So that's stage 1 of 3, okay? So you're observing patterns. You're like, this is interesting. This has popped up before. Oh, wait a minute. What about the jobs in that industry? Oh, look, they're the same salary. Observing, noticing. Then you go on to part 2, which is a very powerful state to be in. It's called managing. You start managing these patterns. Oh, wait a minute. Here's an example. Oh, look, I've noticed the recession is coming up 8 to 10 years' time. I've noticed, there's all these peculiarities with the economy, with inflation. Oh, look, I've managed it by putting some savings away. I've managed it by being a bit more aware and a bit more prepared. I've retrained, I've built up lots of different skills, so I'm able to do multiple jobs. Brilliant, you've managed it. And then we go on to the third one. You start creating the patterns. This is the most powerful place to be, because now you're actually shaping reality. No longer are you simply an observer or somebody that's managing and reacting to it, but now you're shaping it. Because that, my friends, is what a lot of people are doing to create reality. You're shaping it, you're putting out your impact, your mark. Creation, we are all creators. So that's the most powerful thing we can do, guys, when we start creating patterns. Patterns exist everywhere. Patterns exist within nature. We've got the golden section. We've got these circular patterns where the numbers kind of double and then they start increasing exponentially. These patterns that occur, these circles. You see the seasons, where things are quiet. We're in a kind of like planning season now, like a new beginning. This is, this sort of winter stage where, it's a fresh start, it's a reset. You're planting seeds, people talking about, resolutions and new ideas and things they're taking up, new habits. So this is a blank canvas. This is a new beginning. This is a season. So this is a pattern. Then we'll sort of slowly but surely start moving towards spring, where there'll be more opportunities, where we have to take action on these ideas that we have. So, we're in a place of patterns. Patterns are everywhere. Patterns are there in the workplace. One big pattern I noticed within the Western world, specifically within British society, is this pattern of, not being acknowledged for your hard work, not being given promotion. So rather you're being rewarded with more work. I then used the brilliant logical brain and I sort of did the comparison element, and I thought, hang on a minute, it's not like this in other countries, so what is going on here? You notice the patterns. So then, like Einstein said, you can't keep doing the same thing and expect the same results, because that's just insanity. So you have to change it. You have to burn the boats. You have to burn your bridges sometimes. You say, nope, I'm not interested in that. Simply doesn't work. We're not here to just be of service all the time for no recognition. Although, what if you could find a place that did reward you and it did notice your hard work? Then you've broken the pattern. to noticing these patterns. Patterns, people going out drinking every weekend, celebrating on Friday, feeling really crap over the weekend. Patterns. 2008, not interested, broke out of that. You see, my friends, life is about patterns. Because what we are essentially like gardeners, we're essentially like groundskeepers. It's up to us to orchestrate and landscape garden our life and make it easy. Let's just show up. As long as it's clean, it's tidy, it's easy. You don't have to be someone that runs for a marathon every day. But going for that little jog, going for that walk, doing a bit of sport. It's come back, you built up this pattern, this routine, it's easier. The first one's always the hardest. Your body is in shock. It's like, what on earth's going on here? This is crazy. They say putting your shoes on is the hardest part. It's that resistance. But once you get in that pattern, it's like, we're doing it now. Right, I'm ready to go. Oh, look, it's midday on Saturday. This is jog time, or it's 10 a.m. on Saturday, whatever, whenever you go. And it's like, okay, now I'm going for a jog. Now I'm going to gym. Oh, look, I'm excited about it. Now it's a new pattern. See, everything is about patterns, my friends. And when you start changing those patterns, you start building up this momentum. Everything starts to change. I've been building up lots of patterns, like even selling things on Vinted. Like the algorithm responds to the patterns. Oh, look, this guy's really serious about it. He's posting lots of PlayStation games. He's posting lots of old retro videos and computer games. Oh, look, there's another Zara hat. He must be serious about this. So the algorithm starts responding to those patterns, you see. So you create momentum. You create abundance from these patterns. Okay, when you first start out, it's easy to get despondent and discouraged, especially when it seems like the external world isn't changing. Oh, of course, especially if you're living in a city that doesn't seem to change. It's like, am I doing this in a vacuum? Is this all in my head? For years I thought, is this all in my head? I'm in Portsmouth, I'm walking through, these lovely parks and these, kind of 18th century Tudor houses and these, cathedrals. I'm like, do these buildings know anything about what I'm doing? It's the same cathedral. Is it all in my head? But then I start noticing, oh, look, I'm connecting with people from all over the world. I'm connecting with people in Brazil, Atlanta, France, Portugal, Holland, all over the world. And they are responding and they're noticing, guys, it does make a difference. I tell you, here's one for free. Even if your city doesn't celebrate you and give you your flowers, keep moving accordingly. You don't need to make it in your city. You really don't. You can make it in any city. London has probably given me more love and more recognition on the whole than my city did that I grew up in. And I met people that I've known for 5 minutes and they've given me more inspiration and wished me more than people I had known for 37 years. So guys, don't let your city be the kind of proponent or the catalyst for making a move. There's a certain resilience and inner strength you have to have, and that comes from the communities. You can network, connect with people online, even materials, even working with mentors. You can have powerful people in your life that don't have to be living next door or just around the corner. They can be someone online. And that can change everything. So don't be discouraged, don't be despondent, keep moving accordingly. Everything makes a difference. The action that you take is leading to something. It really is. And look at it, watch your bank account go up. Like even just do a fun experiment, for example. Like if you want to create some kind of momentum, just go under the bed and start selling things. Start selling things on eBay and just do it for a bit of fun. Just run it for 90 days as a bit of fun. Just say, right, okay, I've got these shoes, I've got these boots that I don't wear. Let's just put them on, put them on a mid-range price. Some people always put them on, a pair of like boots and they put them on for £30, but they're too high. Put them on a mid-range price, put them on, just do it as an experiment. Say, right, I'm going to put them up a little bit lower, £20, great condition, and then see the money come in. It will bring you a bit of joy, a bit of a dopamine hit. And you just keep doing that and you start creating this momentum, but also you start affirming to yourself that things actually work, that you do make a difference. And it's a wonderful feeling, my friends. Because you're realizing that your actions are making a result. So you're breaking out of this pattern of learned helplessness, which is not where you want to be. You do not want to be in a place of learned helplessness, because everything you do makes an effort, makes a difference. It has an impact. So there's no helplessness about it. So run this thing, run it for 90 days and just see what happens. Start creating momentum. It's really fun to do. And then you affirm to yourself that what you're doing makes a difference. So that's important. So acting accordingly and moving forward. So it doesn't matter if you're not seeing the results instantly, or your kind of local town, it's not noticing. You just keep moving accordingly. Because what you're doing is you are like a thermostat. So you've got all these kind of events that are taking place in the physical realm, you know, all these kind of things that might be happening. But what you're doing is you are being the vehicle of your life. So yeah, things are happening that might be frustrating. It's like, oh, what? This is a bit weird. Why did the banks never raise the interest rates? Or, you know, oh man, why has everything gone up? Oh look, Cadbury's cream eggs at £8. That's crazy. You know, all this sort of stuff. But you could still move accordingly. Of course it might annoy you from time to time. You're only human. You know, this idea of being, you know, successful and resilient, it's not about being like some completely unstartled, unaffected, resilient, you know, individual. That's okay, but that's where the practice comes in. You know, that's where you go for a jog and you're like, okay, I can make peace with this. Okay, the governments don't have your best interests at heart. Okay, I can make peace with this, move accordingly. Oh look, I've made some money for myself. So you start building up more momentum. You start becoming the answer, and it's a beautiful place to be. So that's what I've learned in my life. That's been important, to just move accordingly, have your practice. The morning routine is everything. Like, even if you don't always feel well, just see it through, let it play out. That's the best thing you can do. You know, often if people are feeling a little bit, you know, sort of unsure of what to do, you know, have the routine. The routine is great. Once you get the routine, you start building up a bit of a structure. And then things just open up, because then your job is just to be in that place. So for example, you know, I want to connect with more people and get more clients. You know, it's up to me just to show up and be on the laptop, you know, from hours of 12 to 4 or whatever it may be. And then I put it out there, it's done, sent some messages, sent my book to a few people. It's done, literally close down the laptop, go and do something else. You know, go and watch a travel series, go and watch a comedy. You know, it's not all about being relentlessly, you know, productive all the time. You know, you do something else and then you come back to it and you'll see that you've made a breakthrough. Because everything in life, my friends, is expansion and contraction. So it's that interplay between, you know, making an effort, but then also making sure that we're taking a step back. So that's a very key piece of the puzzle when it comes to success. So just putting yourself out there, making sure that, you know, you've given it a go, put some effort out there, and then, you know, it's okay to take the afternoon off. It's in the interplay, just like getting stronger, just like getting fitter. You know, you go for your jog, you go swimming, you go to the gym, you also take a break. You don't do that every single day. I'm just gonna swim and swim and swim. You know, you'll crash, and then you'll have to rebuild through those, you know, different nutrients. So that interplay, and make it fun, make it exciting, guys. When the energy is fun, it comes together, doesn't it? Just have a laugh with it. Like, don't take life so seriously all the time. I remember I was writing a book. I am writing another book, which some of you might have seen. It's called The Letter. I won't go into too much detail, but it's about a letter that somebody wrote at a school fair, and they find it years later. And within it, there's a thing written by the writer, and it says, "You took it all so seriously, didn't you? When you were having that play, I remember you took it so seriously." And that's such a good point, guys, because adult life is essentially an expansion of play. It's like being a child, it's play, but on a bigger scale. So let's keep it fun, let's keep it playful. You know, let's not make it too seriously. Guys, you can't take life seriously. It would literally kill you. It just don't take it seriously. Like, don't always take it so seriously. Yes, take the important stuff serious. You know, looking after your loved ones, making sure that you've got a secure home and you're making money. Great. Let's take that stuff seriously. You know, have a bit of fun in what you do, because that's where the energy starts to expand, doesn't it? What a wonderful place. The energy starts to expand and you start getting more ideas and the inspiration. You know, there's that famous quote we've all heard that, you know, why is it your best ideas come to you when you're in the shower? You know, why is it your best ideas come to you when you're out on a long walk? You know, it's because you've switched off, you've taken a step back, you're letting your mind wander. So let it wander, have fun in that interplay between doing and letting things happen through you. So that's the next thing, doing and happening through you. So doing is this idea of facilitating, orchestrating, reaching out. Brilliant, it's done. Then it's about who you are. Things happen because of who we are. It's like I'm doing this video now, I'll probably get about 3 likes maybe, but it's happening because I'm doing it, it's through me. But no, maybe I'll get 33 likes, that'd be great, wouldn't it? But But for me, it's not about the likes, it's about the impact and putting this out there so it inspires others. But things are happening through us. So that's it, my friends. You build up this momentum. Life is a mystical thing, you know. We've got all these formulas and these ideas of really how to make it. But it's about the energy and it's about the inner belief. Like, keep believing. You know, that song by Journey, I believe it is, you know, Don't Stop Believing. What a powerful song. Why is it such a powerful song? Because it's so relevant. The message is so poignant. You know, don't stop believing. Hold on to this feeling. It leads you there. You know, these external things are going on. There's always going to be some nonsense going on in the world. All it is, guys, is basically these people are trying to, it's all make-believe and it's all fake. All these people, you know, within politics and within the media. But what they do is they're kind of like trying to advertise who they are. They're trying to present this character of who they are. And they're so invasive about it. It's everywhere. That's the challenge. It's sort of on your TV and it's on your Instagram. And what they do is they want to be on the soapbox, essentially pervading as being the most important thing. But it's just their pledge. It's just their campaign. It's just their intention. That's what they're doing. But what is your intention? You know, your intention is to go and live a great life. Like, this is your life. I spoke about it in the book and I referenced it at the end of the book. You know, Gwen Stefani, like, this is your life. You've got to tell yourself, put both feet on the ground and say, fuck this shit. This is my life. Like, I'm going to live my best life. You know, this is what you've been working towards. Okay, we went to school. There were brilliant things about school. It taught us values. It taught us critical thinking and, you know, ways to analyse. This is brilliant. Lots of great things about that. But where's that future that you were looking for? I'm giving it to you now. That sounds outrageous, doesn't it? Me giving it to you. Who do I think I am? But no, I am encouraging you to grab that for you. You know, your future. It's right here. You deserve it. Like, nothing can take you off your path. This is the thing. Nothing. No harm can come towards you. If you move with good intentions, nothing can stop you, my friends. It really can't. So I just keep believing that. I'm going to go home, I'm going to have a banging cup of tea, and I'm going to start calling in more abundance myself. So I want to share that with you. You can find out more in my book. But I wrote down everything I envisioned. I came from an ordinary background. You know, I lived in that nice little annex, had Super Mario Kart, and had my music, I had Marvin Gaye, and I had all these great speakers and these brilliant, and by speakers I mean people speaking, these inspirational people. And you take what you can and you move accordingly. That's the only way that you can really, you know, make a success of this thing. But it's important because it's about, you know, making sure that you're intentional with what you absorb, and what you take in. But everything can change at any given moment. You know, they speak about a breakthrough in today's society. A lot of people talk about a breakthrough in business, but a breakthrough is essentially a moment where this moment, when everything suddenly changes, like, right now, this is it, the patterns break. And it doesn't mean it's all going to be plain sailing. It's going to be a bit weird at first. That little voice comes up, it's like, oh God, I'm making more money than I've ever had. Oh, I don't know what to do with this. Some people get scared. They freak out. Oh God, can I really do this? Of course you can. Like, nothing bad is going to happen. Like, even if you went for a jog and you jogged further, nothing bad can happen. My dad's a doctor and he assured me that, like, you just get fitter. Like, you know, people think, like, okay, here's the thing, disclaimer. If somebody's not very fit and they're going to go and sprint down the street, that's not advisable. You know, building up slowly. But for example, the fitness thing, you're only going to get stronger. Like, nothing bad is going to happen. And you'll rest and you'll come back next week and you'll be stronger and fitter. So make moves accordingly. It's something I've realised. You know, when you start making moves and making progress, things do start getting better. Things fall into place because you're creating the new normal, as that phrase always went. But it just becomes, it's incredible what we get used to. You know, it just becomes normal. You know, Pharrell Williams wrote a book called A Fish Doesn't Know It's Wet, which some people went on to describe as a fish doesn't know it's in water. It's the same premise. It's this idea that a fish is just in water. It doesn't know that that's its culture scape, that that's its environment. It's just in it. Just like we're in our lives, you know. You wake up and you've received £100, you know, miraculously out of nowhere. That's just normal for you. You just receive £100, you know, through selling some technology. That's normal for you and it's fine, and you can do that because it's all things that you own. we create this new normal. So it all comes from habits and routines, but the key thing is, it's like putting those routines in place to make our life easier. You know, why is it when, you know, we've got something planned for the next day, we put our clothes, we put our bag and everything, you know, by the side of the bed or, you know, on the little sofa, so that it's there. And then literally get up, feel how you feel, take your time. Again, we don't have to be like hard on ourselves. Have a nice shower, have a nice cup of tea, you know, whatever practice, whatever makes you happy, whatever you enjoy. And then you've got that time set, and then you just go to it. Like, this is how life happens. It's simply just showing up. But once we put it in that diary, we put it in the agenda, it's there, and just show up. And also, we don't always have to show up as well. I remember one time I was at an acting event and it was poorly managed, and I remember they had like a casting like in the afternoon, and we hadn't had a moment to stop for lunch, and the guy said, "Oh, Hugh, you gonna go for it?" And I said, "Nah, I'm not doing it," because I hadn't had any lunch, and I thought, I'm not going to do this well. I don't have, you know, I can't give it my all. I thought, no, I'm not doing it, because I'd travelled all the way up to London from early morning, and then it was like 3 in the afternoon and we hadn't really eaten, and I thought, nah, I'm not back at uni, I'm not going to wolf a sandwich down and stand up and be like all out of alignment. So I just said, nah, I'm not doing it. And it didn't even matter, because it turned out to just be a kind of mock casting, and I got a lot more from just watching others and learning. So there's an importance of listening to yourself in that situation. You know, I listened to my intuition, you know, and I said to my friend James, I said, actually, I won't do it this time, and I'm just going to watch. And he was like, fair enough, man, totally fair enough. So that's important as well. So yeah, there's a lot of value in, you know, listening to your intuition, really, and just moving accordingly. So my friends, let's summarize what have I spoke about in this video. The most important thing is, you know, the vehicle and the fuel. So the human being, the person, is the vehicle, you know, making sure that you're in the best state, that you've got, you know, the best health, the best nutrition, feeling happy. That's all that matters. Being able to put both feet on the ground and say, right, I'm here, I'm moving forward, let's do it, what's next? Brilliant, you've got the vehicle. The fuel, or the catalyst, as it were. So the fuel is the inspiration, the ideas, the intuition, you know, the motivation. Although you won't always be motivated, and that's where the routine comes in, the discipline, because then you just have to show up and let it play out. As I spoke about on the, you know, running something for 90 days or whatever it is, you know, running sales, let it play out. The motivation comes through the doing. And another one, like if you're looking for the answers, like it comes through the doing, the exposure, the answers will come to you. Just take that first step. So there we go, that's the vehicle, and that is the fuel. And the second big model that I want to talk about is the patterns. So patterns in the world, in any shape or form. And you've got 3 types. You've got observing, so we observe patterns. Oh look, here we go, there's that Donald Trump again. What's he up to this time? You know, on his soapbox. Observing, it's a bit peculiar. Oh look, actually it doesn't matter. Well, it does, but you can still adapt around it. So then we go to number 2. We go to managing, so you manage things. Okay, this is going on. Oh look, how is it? I didn't actually make so much money from that book in Canada. But what I'm saying is, you know, you manage things, you manage your time, you know, you manage your schedule, you know, around what's going on. You sort of start managing how you respond to these patterns. And then the third thing, and this is the most powerful place to be a sheer and utter creator, is you start creating patterns. So you create them for yourselves. You know, shout out to anyone that's got a nice little healthy practice, you know, whatever it is, you know, pat yourself on the back, you know, you're eating well, you're taking time to meet up with your friends, you know, even scheduling it in. Like, that's impressive, guys. A lot of people don't do that nowadays. A lot of people are just so busy doing what? A lot of people just don't do it, do they? They just don't make that effort to catch up with their friends. Like, you did it, you met up for coffee, good for you, feel good about yourself. You know, that's being a creator. Anything like that, even just putting your shoes on and getting out and doing what it is that you had to do. Creating things, putting things out there. I wanted to create something I've been thinking about the last couple of days, so I did this video. I'm creating it, and that's really important. You know, then we start shaping and shifting. So there we go, my friends, we can do it. What a beautiful time to be alive. What a beautiful time to be alive. We are healthy. We are in the perfect environment. The world's not coming to an end, guys. It really isn't. You know, you are so capable. And why is it in life people don't realise how capable they are until it's required of them? Rather than wait for that moment, let's do it. Just do it now. You know, let's start now. I'm coming back for everything everything, and I'm going to keep giving it back. Like, I have not put all this work in to surrender to an ordinary life. No, my friends, it's a beautiful life. We live these extraordinary lives, and that's all I've wanted for anyone. It really means a lot to me. It really does. And when I wrote this book, it came from a place of sheer humility. It came from the heart, my friends. I just want people to not suffer, and I want people to have that balance in their life, and that's all I ever wanted. So I got it back now. So there we go, my friends. Just keep doing what you're doing. You know, keep getting yourself out there, and you know what I mean? It makes a difference. Everything you do makes a difference. I remind myself of this. You know, everything we do makes a difference. What you are, essentially, you're depositing, you know, opportunity and breakthrough in your bank of life. Every time you show up, you're depositing another coin, another golden ticket into your bank of life, and you're giving yourself more of a chance. What a beautiful thing. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm just going to take my own advice. I'm thinking about the vehicle. You know, I'm the vehicle. Let's keep the signal clear. Let's keep it light. Let's keep it fun. Let's keep it happy. And let's keep it healthy. Let's keep doing what we do. You know, it's a new beginning. And let's keep that inspiration. Let's keep getting motivated. You know, let's keep being inspired. Let's keep that new opportunity arising. You know, we're in this exciting planning stage. You know, we've got that easel, we've got the blank canvas, all the materials you could want. You know, so what picture are we going to paint? That's what we need to think about. You know, it's all possible, guys. It really is. Like, just be good to yourself. We've got our whole lives ahead of us. Really, you are so capable. You are so incredibly capable. You have done so much in your life. You've shown up and done things that you didn't even plan to do. You helped other people and you did it for them. Now give it back to yourself. Do it for yourself. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. There is no such word as can't. You've done it before. You've done it a million times. You've got nothing to be afraid of. All your biggest fears have probably already happened anyway. We all have fears. It's fine. It's what makes us human. Yes, you can. Yes, we can. Let's do this. Keep showing up. Why do we feel we don't have to? Yes, we can. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You know, you are universal intelligence. You are the divine. We don't need to prove it to another fellow human being. Rather, let's share. This is our impact. My friends, I'm wishing you a wonderful day. I hope this video has been of some inspiration and of some clarity. I hope it's given some value. And if not, no worries at all. I appreciate you for sticking with me on this journey and watching the whole thing. In the meantime, I'm going to go and get even more inspired. Have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you soon.